Hi, I'm Anita C. Powell, and I'm here. This is Rare Disease Day, and I decided to begin with Rare Disease Day as an advocate to raise awareness, public awareness regarding autoimmune disease and disorder. And a little bit about me: I'm the mom of astonishing twin daughters, awesome sons-in-law, two of them, and amazing grandchildren, five of them. And what I want to do is be a voice raising public awareness regarding rare disease and also autoimmune disease to promote for education purposes, clinical trial purposes, and environmental and research for funding. This is one I'm planning on this being the first of many presentations raising awareness on both rare disease and then more specifically autoimmune rare diseases and autoimmune disease. Well, today as I said, today is Rare Disease Day, and this is something that I didn't even know anything about it, till I was met with it in my own family. And I just decided that I wanted to be a voice, be one of the other voices in helping to raise information, raise public awareness, work for a cure, different things like that. So I just have some information that I'd like to share with you. One, Rare Disease Day was first observed 15 years ago in 2008 in Europe, and currently it's celebrated worldwide. And so what is a rare disease? Well, that encompasses also disorder, syndrome, and the condition. A disorder is when there is a malfunction within the body that that begins to act up, if you will. And what I've learned through herbalism class, and I believe through when I was taking massage therapy, I believe that it was spoke on that a disease is something when a foreign body comes, foreign substance comes inside of our body, like cancer or diabetes. Diabetes is dietary, what we consume, something that comes from the outside in. And a disorder is something that occurs within. It originates from inside the body, and of course, it stays inside there as long as that is active. A syndrome is when there are a group of symptoms that's pertaining to that disease or disorder, and then you have the condition, and the condition just simply means the state of its presence, whether it's critical or whether it's stable. Now, with a rare disease and other, but this specifically talking about rare disease, because this is Rare Disease Day, a disease, autoimmune disease or disease is considered localized or systemic. And how I understand it is when I was, again, going through massage therapy, I learned that things were regional. When you're doing massage therapy, regional means, okay, you may have something going on with your shoulder. It is only there. General, and another word that is really systemic, is localized or systemic. Systemic, that I equate to general, means that it can be all over the body, such as scleroderma. Okay, disease can also be hereditary and genetic. Now, just because something is genetic does not necessarily make it hereditary, because hereditary just means it is passed from one generation to the next. Genetic is when inside the genome, inside the cell, the genes inside the shell changes or mutates. In other words, change. So that makes it genetic. Some disease disorders which are genetic are considered hereditary, but not all of them. Just because it's genetic does not make it hereditary. And these are things that you might say, well, why do I need to know these things? Well, one, knowledge is power. Second, I didn't know any of these things, about this. And this is our health. And the more you know, the more proactive you can be. you know, there's one in five people are diagnosed with an autoimmune disease or disorder. That is 20, 30 to 50 million people in the US, 300 million across the globe. So it affects all of us. I would bet that anyone, I'm going to say not anyone, everyone that is watching this informational lecture, if you will, has knows someone, either themselves, someone in their immediate family, intimate family, or even indirectly, friends, someone, someone that's been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease or disorder. So, like I said, yeah, knowledge is power. And again, we can be proactive. It's one of those, if I don't know where I've been, then how do I know where I'm going? Like one of the things is before diabetes, which is an autoimmune disease. At one time, it was considered hereditary. Well, if we're studying something that we consider hereditary, we're looking at the genes, and we're looking at a family, something that's familial, which is hereditary. If it's not, we can miss, not knowing, we can miss opportunities to find cures and treatments because we're looking left when we should be looking right. Instead of it being hereditary, it's dietary. So we look at things as far as the diet. So that's what I mean as far as it's very important for us to know, especially with our health. And from this is all new for me. So what I'm sharing with you is information that I just, re, just gleaned maybe two months ago. But some of when I get into the specific autoimmune webinars or lectures that's coming, I will be sharing information that I've learned some time. But again, we're talking rare disease today because this is Rare Disease Day. A rare disease, how it gets its name, a rare disease gets its name by one of few. Okay, either the physician who invented like Sjogren. There's Sjogren is a rare disease, and the person that discovered, the doctor scientist that discovered it, was Henrik Sjogren of Germany. Or you have the patient, a patient that first come up with this new symptom and signs that there's no name for it, then it's named after that patient, or the name comes from the hospital in which the diagnosis originated from, where it was found. Now, according to the National Institute of Health, there's over 7,000. I've read over 7,000. I've read some literature to 7 to 10, but I'm going to say over 7,000 rare diseases. And what that equates to in America is that 20 to 30 million Americans have been diagnosed with a rare disease or disorder. And what that means, to simplify it, is that if we're on an elevator, and an elevator that has not, that is we're going to say at capacity, it is expected that one person in that elevator has a rare disease or disorder. If we're on a bus, 4 people on that bus, being that it's filled to capacity, has been diagnosed with a rare disease or disorder. Now, what constitutes a rare disease is when less than 200,000 Americans are affected. So that constitutes, what makes it rare. Now, and that's not set in stone because, like scleroderma, that's 30. It's reported that 30 in a million are diagnosed with that. However, with Sjogren, there's more Americans have been diagnosed with Sjogren. However, it's still considered rare. So that's not set in stone. Less than 2,000. 2/3 of children, two-thirds are children that have been diagnosed, and of course the rest are adults. And that's how I became how I was introduced to rare disease because two very special people in my life have been diagnosed specifically with Sjogren and then scleroderma. So, in addition to the rare disease and wanting to be an advocate in raising public awareness is because today rare disease has been determined to be a public health concern, and the probable cause being genetic, hereditary, environmental. Environmental. These are the things once we get going, because as I was sharing that this is the beginning, almost like a prelude of the lectures that are forthcoming either monthly or whenever, haven't decided the schedule as yet. But we will be talking about environmental factors as well. Emotional, 80% emotional, 20% uh, physical, uh, probable causes, environmental, chemical, emotional. So we want climate change, global warming, family members being affected, new disease and disorders are being discovered, and still no cure. Like for instance, scleroderma, it's been reported that that's been around, that disease has been around since 400 BC. You talk about cancers, according to the American Cancer Society, cancer dates back to 3,000 years BC, back to Egypt. So it's one of those, in my mind, I'm thinking, I didn't really know about these things, but now that I do, and most times when we get to know about something, usually we're introduced to it unexpectedly, um, surprisingly, and intimately, meaning we're affected personally. We have personal knowledge, may not be personal knowledge where we're experiencing it ourselves, but immediate family members. So we're introduced to that. And then once we're introduced to such things, then we're able to research, because how do you research something that you don't know about? So education is very, very important, because with rare disease, like with cancer, there's a plethora of funding, going on to finding the cure for cancer. I was talking with a beautiful sister in the National Scleroderma Foundation. That's one of the foundations that I joined, as well as the Sjogren Foundation. And she was saying that she made an excellent point. She said, yeah, because we were talking about that. And she said, well, yeah, just the cancer, you get all kind of funding, all kind of, monies that are pouring in, and which is a beautiful thing. But then with the rare disease, you don't, because it's not known. It's not popular, for lack of a better word. It's not out there. It's not known. So the more something is known, well known, if you will, the more attention it's going to get. So if something is rare and it's not being talked about, it public awareness is very, very high as far as not knowing, being unaware, then the funding can be scarce. So, but that doesn't stop a person from being diagnosed with it. So we want to raise awareness so that the rare diseases as well can be afforded that that blessing of being able to receive, and scientists and doctors can create clinical studies, develop clinical studies that people can participate in. So our thing is to unrare the rare so that it can be given attention, so that we can give it attention. And of course, like the funding sources, as I was sharing, research, cures, because before a cure, what do you have to do? You have to conduct studies for that. How do you conduct studies? You need funding. You need funding for that. Now, per the frontier in public health, it there's a critical need to address systemic inequalities and disparity across populations in getting treatment as well. And we know that within every circle, within every four corners of the globe, or if in our personal or even professional life, somewhere, of course, there's going to be that that disparity can exist, as well as that marginalization, as well as the systemic over that all over the place inequality. So that's something. And jurisdiction. Where are you? What's your economic status? Your geographic status? The demographics? How is that? How is that how does that correlate with the treatment that you're going to get? Because again, all of those things are irrelevant when you're diagnosed. You know what I mean? That doesn't stop a diagnosis from being made. That doesn't stop a disease or disorder from entering our body simply because of our economic status or how we look. So that's totally irrelevant. Awareness reduces, again, that marginalization and social policy, because there's if something is rare, health care coverage may not cover it. So your health care may not cover it because it's who knows about it? Well, that's not covered. This disease, we don't know anything about this disease. There's no research. So no, you're not, you know, your medical your insurance, your medical insurance may not cover it because it's not known. So those things are very important. And that's what I wanted to come on. This is how I wanted to celebrate rare disease, to give information. I'm one of those knowledge is power, information. I'm an information person, and that's what I wanted to show and share my love that way in honoring and recognizing Rare Disease Day and giving information. And I pray that this information is valuable to you. Now, one thing also, United Nations, because this is such a public health concern, the United Nations have incorporated rare disease in their SDG number 3, which is the sub is 3.3, communicable disease. They're putting the rare disease, acknowledging the importance of rare disease in the SGD number 3, with the premise that no one is left behind, because that is the first umbrella theme of the United Nations. No one is left behind. So in conclusion, I just want to share, as I also serve as a Michigan Unemployment Appeals advocate. And when I'm consulting with claimants, I always share with them, it is so important that you know the law. It's important that you know the space that you're in, the situation that's going on. And that is the same as with rare disease or autoimmune disease, disorder, syndrome, the condition. It's so very important, because when we know something, when we know better, we can do better. And knowledge is power. And that's how I just decided to share, to celebrate rare disease. And if you'd like to join me in spreading awareness, helping to spread awareness and just getting out there to share this information with others, please email me. I'd love for you to join me at advocateanitac at gmail.com, because we can spread the word together, we can learn together, we can grow in this together. Because again, like I said, I'm very new at this, so I hope I don't sound like I was all over the place. I did prepare an outline so I wouldn't seem like I'm going from A to Z, back to G to B to F, kind of thing. So I hope, it was the transition was smooth. that at least that's my intention. So if yes, if you'd like to learn with me, grow with me, join me, please email me at advocateanitac@gmail.com. And the sources that the information that I gave today, the sources came from the National Scleroderma Foundation, the Sjogren Foundation, NORD, National Organization of Rare Disorders, Everyday Life Foundation, European Joint Programs, Rare Disease, and then also the Frontier. Where was that? I didn't put that down in my sources. One moment. I like to give props where due. But it was the Frontier. Just one second. The Frontier. Now you know. Oh, Frontier in Public Health. Yes, because they also address how it's very important that we understand the pharmacokinetics, how medicine works in our body. That's my study, and also the pharmacodynamics, how it affects, what it does. So how it moves through the body is pharmacokinetics, and how it affects the body is pharmacodynamics. Yeah, I left that out. So that's the Frontier in Public Health. So that's what I have. Those are the sources. And before I leave, I'd like to share with you a poem that I wrote a couple of days ago in honoring our brothers and our sisters. Most of these. One thing about the autoimmune disease or disorder. Well, not all of it. Like scleroderma, Sjogren, those they affect more women, and the diagnosis comes about when women, starting in 30 on up. I know, yeah, my family members, it was 40, in their 40s. So, yeah, so this is what we're going to. Anyway, I wrote a poem, and this is in thinking of in thinking of and observing those with this going through, because it is a transition, it is a transformation, it is a faith questioning, it is a lot, emotionally, physically, physiologically, spiritually, mentally, absolutely physically. So this is a poem that I wrote, and it may sound for women more so, but it's really not. It's for of all everyone that has been diagnosed and living with a rare disease. And this is called Rare Beautiful, and beautiful is not gender. Beautiful is not just female. It's non-gender. You are beautifully rare, radiant angel, remarkable essence of God. You are chosen, a bright star to represent the few, an assignment given only to you. Be bold, stand tall, brave is your signature. Beautiful manifestings of what lies behind the eye. Express your unique originality. Now, behind the closed door, God sees your hurt and pain, the embarrassment, and more. As you attempt to explain why, why me? Only you can experience through muffled tears you hear, in darkness and beginning of dawn. And as the ships pass in the night, you keep it all inside, alone, the torment, anguish, refraining from sharing with loving kind. You are beloved, rare, radiant angel, remarkable essence of God. You are stronger than you realize, amazing, brave, warrior within the warrior. Those who love you try with all heart to understand and demand from anger and fear, even questioning if the Creator is real. You are strength, veneration, iconic, teacher, valor, courage, awakener, love, the enlightener. We all need to take heed, and with extra care. But in being true to you, be mindful of the vagal tone, the frequency of the moan, the smile and the frown, the secrecy of thought, the openness of communication, the share of sensations, imagining, shadowed visioning, grief, empathy, sympathy, anger, apathy. You may question why, as rage, insecurity, and uncertainty is experienced within the very nucleus of your cry. And in all of this, you are beautifully rare, radiant angel, essence of God. There is glory in your greatness and moments of weakness, yeah, expressed in meanness. And it's okay. We're beautiful. To you, be true, because love got you. You are the messenger of the world. You are a precious gem, the pretty flower, the treasure, the gift of life, the pearls of wisdom. You are beloved, rare, radiant angel, remarkable essence of God. A plethora of emotion, rhythm, perspective, polarity, perception, unfolding like the caterpillar emerging from the cocoon. Within the mud, the lotus flower blooms. You are beautifully rare, radiant angel, remarkable essence of God. So very thankful. I'm so very thankful and grateful we share a world together. Bless you, beloved, beautiful, oh, so precious, we're you. Thank you. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this celebrating rare disease information that in my way that I wanted to share and again show my love and support. And we know that the journey of self recovery is absolutely beautiful. And I hope you know, I know you know so beautiful, both he and she, so are you. So as we continue to raise awareness and support and love on each other, bringing peace with each other, let's tap into that trust. As you tap into you, I tap into me. Because within side of any rare disease, within that imperfection, there is that perfection. All we got to do is tap into it and recognize that it is one love, one energy, and because of that, we are connected with each other. Yes. Have a peaceful, peaceful, beautiful day. Blessings.